Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the most pressing stories of the day. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're starting with a developing story that has sparked intense debate and controversy. The U.S. campaign against Venezuela has taken a dramatic turn, with reports of airstrikes targeting vessels suspected of carrying narcotics. At the center of this story is a strike on September 2nd, which has raised questions about the legality and morality of the actions taken by U.S. forces. According to reports, the strike resulted in the killing of survivors of an initial airstrike, which some experts argue could constitute a war crime. Democrats have called for the release of video footage detailing the attack, but Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth has refused, citing long-standing Department of War policy and classification concerns. Lawmakers who attended a classified briefing with Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio expressed frustration over the lack of transparency. Senator Chuck Schumer stated that the administration came to the briefing empty-handed, while Senator Chris Coons struggled to understand why portions of the footage couldn't be released, given the frequent posting of videos from other attacks. The U.S. has attacked over 20 vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific Ocean since the beginning of the campaign, resulting in at least 90 deaths. The actions have been justified as necessary to combat drug smuggling, but critics argue that the methods used are disproportionate and potentially illegal. As the debate continues, lawmakers in both the Senate and House of Representatives have introduced war powers resolutions aimed at stopping the president from engaging in hostilities against Venezuela without congressional permission. The measures may be put to a vote this week, but it remains unclear whether they will garner enough Republican support to pass. We'll continue to monitor this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's clear that the U.S. campaign against Venezuela has raised complex questions about the use of military force, transparency, and accountability. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Concrete Block. I'm your host, Walter. We're taking a closer look at the latest developments in President Trump's approval ratings. According to recent polls, the president's job approval rating has seen a slight rebound after hitting a second-term low. The Decision Desk HQ average of polls puts his approval rating at 44.8%, marking a 3.5-point increase from last month. However, it's worth noting that this rebound comes on the heels of a significant decline in Trump's economic approval ratings. A Reuters Ipsos poll revealed that only 33% of U.S. adults approve of the president's handling of the economy, with many citing concerns over tariff impacts and persistent inflation. The same poll showed that Trump's overall approval rating slipped to 39%, near his term low. Now, some might argue that the president remains optimistic about the economy, with sources close to the administration suggesting that Trump believes the economy will take off in the first quarter of next year. This bullish outlook is reportedly based on stimulus from recent legislation, but critics argue that it may not be enough to address the underlying concerns driving the decline in economic approval ratings. As we consider these developments, it's essential to remember that presidential approval ratings can fluctuate over time and are influenced by a wide range of factors. While some may see this rebound as a positive sign for the president, others will likely remain skeptical about the long-term prospects for the economy. We'll continue to monitor these trends and provide you with in-depth analysis and balanced perspectives. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, we're going to take a look at some of the latest developments in international news. It appears that tensions between Russia and Western countries continue to escalate, with reports emerging that Russia's Justice Ministry has designated the German broadcaster Deutsche Welle as an undesirable organization. This move effectively bans the broadcaster from operating in Russia and could lead to severe penalties for individuals affiliated with the organization. In a statement, the Director General of Deutsche Welle, Barbara Massing, expressed her commitment to continuing their work despite the challenges posed by the Russian government's actions. The German government has also condemned the ban, accusing Russia of fearing independent information, particularly about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has been engaged in diplomatic efforts, including a recent phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. However, the conversation reportedly did not yield any significant breakthroughs, and tensions between the two nations remain high. In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has been threatening to impose sweeping sanctions on Russia over its attacks on Ukraine. The Kremlin has responded by expressing concerns about the potential consequences of such actions. As we consider these developments, it's essential to remember that the situation is complex and multifaceted. While some may view Russia's actions as aggressive and unwarranted, others may see them as a legitimate response to perceived threats or injustices. It's crucial to approach this topic with nuance and to seek out diverse perspectives in order to gain a deeper understanding of the issues at play. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.